let's now have Professor Dakwa on what she is speaking to talk about. And we are putting up these graphics shortly on your screens so that you can see top 25 countries searching porn hubs. And at the very top, Nigeria, Ghana, and you ask yourself what is going on. Yes, Prof.
Thank you very much. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, fellow panelists. So for me, what was interesting about these statistics is what it suggests about Ghana, right? I don't know exactly how they came up with the figures. They probably looked at numbers of viewings from Ghana.
Right.
And then I'm thinking, did they calculate that based also on our population? Because Ghana is a population of 30 million. Nigeria's population is at least 3 times that. If they did include population size and we come second after Nigeria, then that's quite something. I'm actually far more interested in the Ghanaian responses to our status as number 2 globally. One that really caught my attention was somebody who said, well, basically, if anybody is in Ghana and they search the site, it gets counted as Ghanaian. And it's all the foreigners in Ghana who are busy watching the porno, and then we end up having to bear the brunt of.
How many foreigners in Ghana?
Exactly. But for me, what that says is we don't want to confront the reality. We are embarrassed by the statistics, so embarrassed that we would rather deny the possibility that it exists here. And for me, that's part of our problem. There are many aspects of our lives in Ghana that we feel too embarrassed by and are unwilling to confront and address. And until we recognize this does happen here, this is taking place here, people are watching porno by night and then going about their daily business by day, and probably during the day condemning those who are watching at night. And we have no way of knowing because we are not there with them when they watch it. But if there's that many of us watching, what does that tell us about our sexuality, our sex lives, right? And how does that match up with the conversations we have in public about what we do, who we are in terms of Ghanaian conceptions of appropriate sexual behaviors, and so on and so forth. There are just so many aspects of our lives, especially dealing with matters of sexuality, that we fail to address. And we think the more we stick our heads in the sand like ostriches, the better off we are. Or if we deny it long enough, it will disappear. But that's not how the world works. It does exist. We have to recognize that it does exist and then think about what does this mean for our context? How do we accommodate, address, deal with not just issues of pornography, but many other issues that we find in our country as Ghanaians. And I want to link this up to Lamnautu's point about murders and kidnappings and disappearances of Ghanaian women also. Because in the last year, there have been many incidents of this. And you find that we are not discussing it, taking it on and saying, what's going on here? Similar to what we are doing with the pornography issue, we seem to think if we just let it be, it will somehow disappear. But once it's showing up in our statistics, that tells us that there is a problem here, there is an issue here, and we have to confront it head on. Sticking our heads in the sand doesn't help us one bit.
What does that revelation also tell anybody about what we claim to be? We say we are a religious country. We like to say we are a Christian nation. Of course, we are building a cathedral. And we have just dedicated a mosque. Magnificent. What does that say about us? Actually, there have been some publications that seek to suggest that it is not exactly what it looks. By just clicking on it, you know, it's counted. So it's possible that somebody didn't even watch the porn, but it's counted and so on.
Okay, fair enough. What did you go doing on that site? How did you manage the www.por? And then when you finally got the whole thing, you decided, nah, I'm not watching. For me, I think what this tells us, you know, Ghana actually has the record of having more churches per square meter than any other country in the world. So in terms of going to church, I think we score 100% on that. But for me, it's form over function. Our ability to translate that into Christ-like lives that reflect whichever God we are serving. That's where the problem is. So I say we have to be concerned about not just how many people are going to church, asking people what church you go to, but asking people on Tuesday, so this thing that we are doing right here, what does that tell you? How does that reflect a Christ-like life? One of the things that I'm shocked by increasing in Ghana is things that people manage to tell you. Growing up, I knew stealing was bad. So if I stole something, there was no way I'd be sitting here with you and then during the break, I'll turn to you and say, well, guess what, yesterday. But in Ghana these days, people say things to you and you're thinking, this is not right. How dare you not just do it, but actually tell me about it. And for me, that tells me that there's a disconnect between the Christ, the Allah we are worshiping, and the behaviors we are engaging in. They don't match up. I'll give you another example. In Ghana, we pride ourselves on abstinence is the way to go, and everybody is touting abstinence. So based on that then, given how religious we are, we should all be virgins until we get married. You look at the statistics, and that's not what it says. The age at first marriage is higher than the age at first sex, which means people are having sex long before they get married. It's about a 2-year gap for women, about a 7-year gap for men. This is on the web. Everybody can find it. Just go download the Ghana Demographic and Health Survey and look, right? So this is the reality on the ground. It means when you sit in a church and we are busy speaking abstinence, half of us are not abiding by the abstinence that we are teaching. When you have the youth fellowship and the older people are talking to the younger people, they didn't do what they are saying. Neither are the young people doing what they are saying. But we like the facade of that. And then in that space, all kinds of things are happening then. Because if you're a young person within that space, where there's so much you are not allowed to say, discuss, speak about, and yet it's happening to you, you've got nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. And until we are able to be open and say, yes, abstinence is the best way, but what happens if you get raped? You may believe in abstinence, you want to abstain, but you don't have control over that fully. And you shouldn't have to bear the brunt of that as if you are the one who, in Ghanaian language, brought it upon yourself, right? We need to be a lot more open about the reality on the ground, about the nuances in our life experiences. Very few of us have a straight path where everything goes exactly according to plan. You don't teach your child to be wayward. You don't teach your child you have to fail at school. If your child isn't doing well in a certain subject, you have to acknowledge it and work with them to address it, but not pretend as if it doesn't exist. We need to begin to make our behaviors match our religiosity. Currently, I'm afraid that's not the case.
There's a gentleman who has done some work by what he calls a verification process, and he says that it's not exactly what we think it is, and this was published in 2019, and that's what we are talking about. He says that people visiting the sites who are being used to indicate these things, he says what has been done and indicated on the chart reflects the search that is made for a particular kind of content on the website. And this content category is classified as big, beautiful women. So he suggests that that may not be exactly the situation as being painted. So if we see Ghana on the top there after Nigeria, it's not exactly what it looks like. It says the countries captured in the traffic by device chart of 2020 are very similar to the top 20 countries by traffic in the 2019 review report of the pornography website. And then he makes a conclusion that Ghana has not been ranked among the top visitors of pornography website, one particular website, but that the chart that is being used to back this claim only refers to visitors to just one category of videos on the website. I don't know what effect this is. Yeah.
So the category of big, beautiful women, the big, beautiful women are wearing robes.
Right.